Welcome back to Hardball. Well, back in the summer, everybody knows Republicans bragged at those town hall meetings and all the anger was totally spontaneous. But now it looks like they want to manufacture some more of that excitement. Politico reports today that Tennessee Senator Lamar Alexander, usually a mild-mannered guy, said Republicans are quietly planning some 50 in-person and telephone town hall gatherings over the next 3 weeks to drum up opposition to the Democratic health care bill as it moves through the Senate or dies there, whatever happens there. Will this help Republicans beat health care? Will it help them win back control of Congress next year? Pat Buchanan and the Washington Post's Eugene Robinson are both MSNBC political analysts. Gentlemen, let's take a look at this latest Gallup poll. It's unbelievable. If you're watching polls change, they do change. Look at this, the latest. This is among registered voters. Now, registered voters polls tend to help Democrats, because it assumes everybody's going to vote equally, and Democrats aren't as good at voters. Look at this. It has Republicans leading 48 to 44 right now. And do you want to vote for a Republican or a Democrat next year? Gene? It's a big loss for the Dems. They're down 10 points from where they were 4 months ago.
Yeah.
The country's shifting Republican.
Well, yeah. I mean, independents are shifting Republican. We saw that in the off-year election.
Well, here it is among Republicans. It's worse now. You thought that was bad? 50 to 30, 52 to 30 now among independents now. How they're going to vote for Republicans.
Yeah. Well, what Democrats have to hope is that the economy gets better, health care gets through when people like it, and things look different when we actually get around to vote.
Suppose, Gene, we have a roughly 10% unemployment rate persisting through the next year, and health care ends up a shambles, even a minuscule piece of what it was promised to be, or nothing.
Then there will be substantial Democratic losses.
Look, the country is not pro-Republican so much as it's anti-Washington, anti-liberal, anti-incumbent, angry over this economy. But what the country has come to...
Land.
Well, no, what the country has done is the only alternative they've got is the Republicans. And what we found out 8 days ago is Republican is not being inhibited against voting for those guys. They will vote for Republicans.
To make a point.
They'll not only to make a point, but Republicans aren't that popular, but they've gotten over the Bush incubus, if you will. The 2006 2008 elections were, let's get those guys out.
So, Pat, the whole strategy of this administration, or at least I think it's the strategy of acting like all there is that is the Democratic government and these yahoos out there doesn't work, because they'll vote against the Democrats. That seems to be the way people... Look, they voted for Chris Christie despite all the problems.
That is exactly right. They're an acceptable alternative.
I do think so. I think there's another side to this, though. I do think that in the end, there is... voters do appreciate trying to do something as opposed to trying to do nothing. And I'm...
What evidence do you have of that positive thinking? Well, no, really. I mean, we live in an angry time.
I'm not sure that I have
live in a Buchanan more than a Gene time. You won the Pulitzer Prize for being thoughtful about last year's elections. I'm not sure the people are particularly thoughtful right now. They're particularly angry.
Let me say something. I don't think health care is going to make a hill of beans of difference if it passes. If it fails, the Democrats can't do anything. There's no...
So you're with Bill Clinton in this?
Look,
no, you just made Bill Clinton's point. You better damn well pass it, because if you fail, you'll get hurt for it.
You'll get hurt, but if you pass it...
So you're with Clinton?
Look what Lyndon Johnson...
You're with Bill Clinton?
Yeah, I agree with him. Okay. If he said that, he's with me.
All right.
But let me say,
He did say that.
Look,
so he's with you.
Medicare...
I love the way you separate yourself from possible reality here.
I think he's running.
Look at 65. Medicare, Medicaid, education, Voting Rights Act,
and you guys won in 66.
And then we won 47 seats. We didn't do a thing but say no, 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 no.
You have to understand it to Patrick J. Buchanan. Everything goes back to the 66 election. Because it was the first one where just he and Dick Nixon were riding alone around that plane together. It was like halcyon days for him. It's sort of like the Alger Hiss trial is to him. He has to keep going back to this case. Isn't that right? Everything is 66.
But that's a good
Route 66. You should go. Here's a column title for you. Route 66.
All right. The pendulum, Chris, had gone all the way to the left, and it was starting back, and we caught it.
Okay.
And it brought Nixon right into the White House.
Killed Johnson more than anything else, right?
Well, only 3% in 68. 3% in 68 was inflation. That was bad?
Well, why do people hate it so much?
It was the war, the divisions in the party, the anti-war stuff, Kennedy, all those guys starting to break against him. Yeah. And quite frankly, we've been driven down to 140 seats. If Nixon said, look, naturally, we got 165.
Yeah, no base.
Yeah. So she got 47 seats, and now we're down to 170 or 178.
Let's take a look at what Charlie Cook, he's an expert in elections. He looks at the fact that just we get down is because I think Pelosi's seat is in danger. Not her seat in San Francisco, but her speaker's seat. Look at this right now. The Cook report says currently you've got 34 Democratic seats that could go easily Republican. You've got 12 Republican seats that could go Democrat, although not in this environment. What do you make of that, Pat?
I think that's about right. I think the guys talking about taking back the House are a little bit exaggerating. I would put it right now.
40 seats now.
I'd take somewhere. I would say right now, if they had the operation, you're somewhere between 26 and 35. I think.
26 is how many Reagan lost in 82.
Exactly.
And but Clinton lost 55 when there wasn't a recession.
Right,
yeah.
right. And I don't think it's going to.
Was it 52 or 55?
52.
52.
I don't think the Republicans have given
we're not there
reason
yet.
to go to 55 seats. It's not. That's not going to happen. I think
with double-digit unemployment.
We only need
with
40.
a real unemployment rate of about 17% right now.
We need 39 or 40, Chris. I think they can make it, but those last 6 would be awful tough. With these numbers, you're not there yet, but you're moving there.
Competitive seats.
Let me tell you what to worry about if you're a Democrat now.
Right.
Creed Deeds in Virginia, a moderate state politically, not a left-wing or right-wing state, loses by 18 points. And he was the most conservative possible Democratic candidate there.
Yeah, but he was not a good candidate. I mean, he lost Fairfax.
Yeah.
I think Terry McAuliffe might have won Fairfax, might have done better. They thought he was going to be a great candidate, but he had no clout up here, and he was beaten down there.
What do you make of these polls when you ask people, do you want to vote for a Democrat or Republican for Congress next year? Not your name, not your ethnic group, not your guy.
I think that's what I would expect to see, frankly, because I think
this shift is a 10-point shift in 4 months, though, Gene.
That's a pretty quick shift.
It's a very bad news for this reason. Republicans are 20% in the polls, and they're saying we prefer them to Democrats.
Isn't that interesting?
It sure is.
It tells you people will vote Republican but not say they're Republican. Explain that. How can you say, I'm going to vote Democrat this November, but don't call me a Republican?
Because the hostility of Republicans is out there, but they've become acceptable, Chris. If the Democrats were smart, you know what they do? Stick third-party candidates in a lot of these races.
Yeah. It's
third-party conservative, Ron Paul, populist, people like that.
You know, it's like in those old commercials. I'm voting for the box that says X on it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not voting for the brand.
I'm not for him. What's the other one?
Yeah, that's right.
The other wild card, though, is the struggle within the Republican Party about what is the party going to be? Is it going to be
we're going to be in
hard right conservative?
We're going to be
a more moderate party that can attract independents.
But you're not. That is not it.
2010,
we are the alternative. We are against them.
Okay, one
That's
thing.
all you need.
You know what we learned from New Jersey? You're not going to win by calling the other guy fat. I'm serious.
Of course he's not.
That's all they had. That's all they had. You're fat. I mean, what a ridiculous, pathetic schoolyard thing that was. Pat Buchanan, Gene Robinson. It's great to be with the grown-ups here anyway.